All right, y'all. TD Jakes. Some of y'all call him TD Snakes. I don't like when y'all be saying that though. I don't feel like that's cool, in my opinion. I don't think that's cool. You calling this man TD Snakes. I don't think that's appropriate. I don't think we should be doing that. But TD Jakes, he just went on the Today Show. This is a Today Show exclusive, right? It says he speaks on his massive heart attack that he had. He also addresses the allegations. I've already watched this interview, so I'm going to watch it with y'all and kind of give you my opinion on it. I will say this, it's definitely a softball interview. It's a PR type of interview. It's not really a deep interview. It's a PR interview, which I understand. I get it because he's going through active legal situations left and right. So there's only so much that I imagine that he's advised to say at this point in time. But nonetheless, he does still reveal some details and some information that we didn't know, especially in relation to what happened when he seemingly had a stroke, but he says it was a heart attack. He said he almost passed away. He had emergency surgery while he was awake, which is crazy. And the reporter, I don't want to say pressed him, but he just kind of asked him about the allegations, and TD kind of spoke on that. He did say something very interesting, specifically about Google and specifically about YouTube, which I find to be extremely interesting. But anywho, let me play the clip and let's get to it. All right, let's go.
We are back with a Today exclusive with Bishop T.D. Jakes. He's the head of the Potter's House in Dallas, a mega church with more than 30,000 members. Millions more watch online. And this morning, 4 months after a medical event that he says changed his life forever, he's shining new light on his story.
I had a fair amount of anxiety about walking out on this stage, standing in the same spot that I almost died in.
On New Year's Eve last December, Bishop T.D. Jakes returned to the pulpit of his Dallas, Texas church and received a standing ovation.
And I think we owe him praise tonight.
His message that night was one his worshipers feared they might not hear. Just weeks earlier, he'd experienced a life-threatening medical emergency at Sunday service, going silent during his sermon.
Let him go in peace.
Church members rushed to his side. As parishioners waited for word, speculation grew over the bishop's health, with some asking if he'd suffered a stroke. Jakes later revealing, while it wasn't a stroke, he had suffered a, quote, life-threatening calamity and had emergency surgery.
Many of you don't realize that you're looking at a miracle.
Bishop Jakes is now back regularly in the pulpit, where he has preached for the last 29 years, with his congregation of 30,000 members joining in person and online. Thankful, he says, for his parishioners' messages of goodwill and strength.
I cannot tell you how glad I am to be in the house of the Lord tonight. I missed you. I thank you. With God, all things are possible. Can you say amen?
Amen. Let's, Bishop Jakes, so happy that you're here. So happy you survived.
Thank you, Chris.
Let's end the speculation now. What did happen to you that morning on stage?
I didn't really realize what was happening to me on stage until I got to the hospital in an ambulance and fussing that it happened on stage, by the way, because I didn't want it to happen. And the doctor leaned over my ear and said, you had a massive heart attack. And the reason I didn't realize it is because I had none of the symptoms that they say, no numbness, no sharp pain, no anything. I just kind of drifted off to sleep. I didn't know what it was, but I almost died.
Massive heart attack.
He said 5 minutes later I'd have been dead on arrival. The right side of my heart had completely stopped getting blood at all.
That's pretty crazy. 5 minutes later, he would have been dead on arrival. That's pretty wild. That's pretty wild.
And as long as I was up preaching, I felt fine. But when I sat down, the adrenaline dropped, and it exposed the fact that I was preaching with half of my heart closed through a clot. And they had to go get it.
That's pretty crazy. He said he was preaching with half of his heart closed. Wow. That's very interesting. That's very interesting. Let's continue.
And it was an amazing experience, man. It was just total, the whole experience, not just what they saw, but The surgery, everything.
They say sometimes that when you come that close to death, you see things, you hear things. Did you see or hear anything?
I wasn't there in the chair. I didn't experience like it looks like. It's hard for me to look at that video because they had to claw the microphone out of my hand. And I wrote a book, Don't Drop the Mic, so I didn't plan to live up to it like that. But they had to claw it out of my hand. But in my mind, I was in a quiet, peaceful, serene, white enveloped, cloud enveloped space. I was on my way out. And it was, afterwards, in retrospect, it was such a privilege to stand on the other side, to get a little glimpse of what that might be like, or at least what it was like in that moment for me. I think it was absolutely amazing. And then I had my whole church, and when I say my whole church, I mean global, not just the congregation, even people who didn't go to my church, people everywhere sending prayers. I'm so thankful, and I want to use this opportunity to thank them. And while they were praying, the surgeons were operating while I was awake. And they never put me to sleep. Technology is amazing.
And then the very next day, after you survive this massive health scare, your attorneys have to file a defamation lawsuit. They filed this defamation lawsuit against this pastor who accused you of sexual assault and grooming about 4 decades ago. Recently, his brother came out, also accused you of similar allegations, sexual assault allegations. How do you respond to those allegations?
You know, it wasn't just then. It's been going on all year from different people in different places. We're living in a time of misinformation and disinformation that's hard to live with. And I came to a few conclusions. Number one, some people don't see you as an individual. They see you as an opportunity.
Ooh.
And we're living in a...
That's a good point. Can I speak on that for a second? You know, we all are our own independent media organizations. With the power of social media, we now have the ability to broadcast ourselves like never before. Even if you have, and I was saying this on stream the other day, even if you have a platform of 200 people, you might think that that's insignificant from the standpoint of 200 followers, because you look at other people's platforms and they have 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, a million, right? But those 200 people, put those 200 people in a room in person and grab a microphone and speak in front of those 200 people, you'll realize how many people that actually is. You have a platform, you have impact. We all do. And at this point in time, it's like never before, because we have the ability to speak, to post it, and then get compensated for doing that. That's incredible, but that's also a huge responsibility. And we also have to be very careful with the words that we say and the words that we allow to come out of our mouths, especially when we're speaking on other people. Now, I think we all have a duty to call certain things out. Like the Bible tells us we should be calling certain things out, right? But I think we have to be very mindful in how we do that. And we also have to recognize that these are human beings at the same time. I'm not telling you to suppress the truth. I'm not telling you to muzzle yourself. I'm not telling you to censor yourself. But there are some moments where we need to lead with wisdom and lead with love, and not just be so quick to chase a bag when it comes to certain topics. And this is something that I'm learning myself too. I'm learning this as well in real time. You know what I mean? So when he said that, that really did resonate with me, because he is a person. And at the end of the day, like, what are we really after? Are we after people to come closer to God, or do we want to just use people as a punching bag and continue to bury them deeper and deeper, so to say? You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't know what happened. Who knows what happened? I have no idea. These are all allegations. They're allegations. We'll see how it plays out from a legal standpoint, and then we'll go from there after we know exactly what went down. If we'll ever know exactly what went down. Who knows if this is going to go to a trial, or I don't know where this whole thing is at. I have no idea. I know that what's his name? I forget his name. Youngblood. I know he filed the lawsuit a day after he had the heart attack. He filed that lawsuit. And a lot of people were saying, and I think it was even reported, that TD Jakes' attorneys were saying that stress may have also been a contributing factor to the heart attack that we now know took place. But I know he filed it, and then TD Jakes filed a countersuit. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't. But I will say this also. Some people have a certain distaste for TD Jakes from a theological standpoint. I know a lot of people who have a distaste for him from a theological standpoint. But don't let that disagreement that you have with him from a theological standpoint, don't let that shape your entire opinion of him, because you never know what's actually going on in somebody's heart. You never know what type of temptation somebody is facing on a daily basis. You never really know what's up with somebody. We can only speculate, right? And I'm not going to sit here and make excuses for anything that we've heard, because obviously, if these things are true, they're terrible. But like I said, at this point, they're allegations. We don't really know what went down. So I think there's a certain moments where we do need to take a step back and ask ourselves, yo, what are we truly after? Like, if you think that TD Jakes needs to repent, okay, then pray that he comes to God. If you're somebody who's in that camp who thinks that he needs to repent, then pray that he comes to God, because you also got to recognize he's got 30,000 people, at least 30,000 people in his congregation that he's leading, right? Those are 30,000 souls that he is leading, right? We need to be praying that he's leading them with a pure heart in the right direction. I feel like, I don't know what it is, but it's like a lot of us, we're very loose with our tongue and we're praying for somebody's downfall, not understanding at the same time that we're praying for somebody's downfall, there's potentially at least 30,000 other people that are looking at this person as a spiritual leader, trying to find wisdom and trying to find understanding through this person. And I understand we all have access to God. We all have access to Jesus. You shouldn't idolize a person. You shouldn't worship a person, but you know, we do have spiritual leaders in real life that we look to for a deeper level of understanding biblically that help us, you know, pursue Jesus. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm going to say. Y'all going to say I'm a hypocrite. I'm playing the fence. I'm blah, blah, blah. Listen. The ones who got ears to hear, y'all know what I'm saying. All right, let's go.
I'm right now people being misaligned and seldom challenged, and that has gone.
So that's why you sued. That's why you filed the defamation.
I filed the suit because if you don't ever speak back, it just continues to go on and on and on. And I decided enough is enough.
You fought back against these men legally. You're fighting back publicly. We should note that the accusers have also filed a motion to dismiss your lawsuit. They denied any wrongdoing. But you just mentioned that this has happened in the past. Do you expect there'll be more accusers coming forward?
I don't know where we are right now. From the looks of last year and how many black celebrities and celebrities in general have had to endure this kind of stuff, I don't know where we are right now. I think that there is a hopelessness, a desperateness. Desperate people do desperate things. And they filed a motion to have it dismissed, and so far it's been denied. We filed 600 pages of information. I don't know what's next. I didn't see this coming.
To be clear, you vehemently deny all of these accusations.
Absolutely. I haven't seen this person for 40 years, and this particular individual has been arrested as a child predator twice and convicted.
I want to ask you about another legal battle, because I found this interesting. To your point, there's a lot of chatter online last year about TD Jakes and Diddy and a lot of conspiracy theories out there.
Yeah.
And then your lawyer is now seeking to subpoena Google over AI-generated YouTube videos. Instead of letting that one go, your lawyers are going after these videos. Why?
Because it's become a business. Killing people's character has become a business, and your own.
I think they're doing too much, in my opinion. Now, granted, the videos in question, let me see if I can show one to you. Not show, but let me see if I can find a thumbnail. Hold on. TD Jakes, Diddy. These are crazy thumbnails. Okay. Oh my goodness. I ain't never seen nothing like this in my life. Hold on. I don't even know. Hold on. Give me a second. Okay, wait. Wow. Okay, maybe. Hold on. I might sue Google too. I might sue Google too if I see these thumbnails. If this was me, I use. I don't even know if I can show this, bro. Okay, let's just here's the this is just one example. This is just one example. This is one example. There's many more examples, okay? Listen, the people who are doing this are doing too much. Y'all 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 doing too much. That's too much. That's too much. And that's a very mild version of the other AI generated thumbnails that are on there. That's a very mild version. And y'all doing too much. I'm actually genuinely surprised that there's not an issue already with the fact that those are on, that those are where they're at from a YouTube standpoint. I'm very surprised. I'm very surprised. Y'all doing too much. So actually, I was gonna say that I think his lawyers are doing too much trying to get those videos taken down. But now when you go and look at it, you just got to ask yourself, if that was you in that same position and they were making these thumbnails with AI, you guys all type of, what is it called? You know what I'm talking about? When they got the whips and chains and like is that BDS? What is that called? You know what I'm talking about? They got thumbnails with him dressed in those with Diddy. Like it's getting out of control. It really is. And it's all for the dollar. It's all for the profit. It's all for the bag, right? So I was gonna say his lawyers are doing too much, but man, I would be like, yo, this is some weird stuff. I'm surprised that Google hasn't already taken action on those thumbnails in general. I'm very surprised. I'm very surprised. So from that standpoint, I agree with that. What he's, and I think really the problem that we have is, as I said, everybody is their own independent media organization. If you have a phone in your pocket, you are your own independent media organization. If you have a login to a social media account, you fall into that category, right? You fall into that category. We need honest reporting. That's what we need. We need honest reporting. Because when you add money into the equation, that's where dishonesty comes into play. That's where manipulation comes into play. And when you put AI into the equation, it's now more than ever easier to create this type of content that is meant to deceive and meant to essentially just gain clicks and doesn't really offer any substance or value on the back end. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I agree. I agree. Those are pretty wild.
Did their own research and proved that the AI generated images and pictures that went everywhere were AI generated, that it was false. And even after your network did their research and published it, people still continued it. It's almost like we enjoy being angry. We enjoy whatever is salacious. We're not interested in truth. Swoops did something on it. Other people did. TMZ came out, said lies. Didn't matter what anybody said, including me. Yeah. So I said nothing. Because the more you talk, the more you feed the fire. We're in an odd place right now. People losing jobs, losing houses. One of the reasons that we started our entrepreneurial Good Soil is to show people that if you don't have a job, you can create a job. Not this kind, not the salacious kind.
No. TD, this is what I would tell TD. Hey, TD, yo, chill on the plugs, bruh. Chill on the plugs. What I mean by that is he talked about his book already, and now he talked about his entrepreneurial academy. Okay, that's cool, but like, bro, we here to talk about some really serious, information. And this is why people get a little bit like, because it's like you throw these things in the midst of a very serious conversation. It makes people question, like, why did you really pop up and pop out? You know what I'm saying? That's just me personally. I would just be like, nah, we ain't. That's what I would say. Like, hey, maybe we shouldn't like plug any products in this interview. Just, you know what I'm saying? That's just me. I don't know if y'all agree with that, but that's just me.
Bishop Jakes, before I let you go, you've always been a man of great faith. I've enjoyed getting to know you over the years. You've had a lot happen to you over the last year or so.
Yes.
How does that change your faith? How does it change your relationship with God?
Well,
It's a good question.
no, it's a funny thing. I've had a lot. You've only seen half of it. I mean, while all that was going on, my wife had a knee replacement that was amazing. That was going on at the same time. My brother had kidney failure. I had a lot coming at me from a lot of different directions. But now I have a mandate. I'm getting ready to do our Good Soul Conference, June 12th through the 14th. I've got Lorenzo coming from Fear of God. I've got Oprah Winfrey coming. I've got a lot of
Fear of God. The designer of Fear of God? Wow. And Oprah. Wow. Is Oprah a Christian? But this is an entrepreneurial conference. So this is for like entrepreneurs. Okay, I got it. I understand.
coming, because I think if we don't give direction to people to how they can positively move forward, I'm going to start my podcast where I can really elaborate on what.
Oh, that's great. Yo, TD, let's link up, brother. TD, let's link up, brother. Let's do the pod, brother. Let's link up, brother. You know what I'm saying? I know you. I know they told you to do these softball interviews. Listen, let's link up, brother. Let's link. You know, I think that would be cool. I think that would be interesting. I think that'd be interesting. I do. I think that'd be cool.
And how to
The heart attack doesn't seem to have slowed you down a whole lot.
No, I'm getting faster because one, I'm older.
Yeah.
Two, I'm grateful. Three, I've got something to say. And I just need a platform to say it on. And it doesn't always have to be the same platform that I've had for almost 50 years.
Bishop Jakes, thank you.
Hey, thank
All right. I mean, that's interesting. That's cool. That's cool. Hey, what did they say? What did they say? All press is good press. That's what they say in the industry, don't they? All press is good press. All press is good press. I'm not saying listen. You want to see how to turn some negative press and use that as a springboard for promotion, for the conference, for the books, for the podcast, for the new pod. That's listen. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying, hey, that's what it is. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. Yeah, man. Just let me just say, just to bring this plane home, to land this plane, right? To land this plane. Let's just remember, we're all human beings. We all make mistakes, right? We're all human beings. We all make mistakes. If we are desiring to be representatives of Jesus Christ, we have to take the same heart that Jesus would have in certain situations. And it seems like a lot of us are so quick to bury somebody and so quick to pile on, as opposed to genuinely sit there and be like, you know what, let me just pray for this person. And I think we need more people just saying like, all right, let me just pray for this person. We have a lot of soldiers out there that, are very good at calling it out. That are very good at pointing fingers, that are very good at that. You know what I'm saying? And I think that is necessary. That's definitely necessary. But I do think we need prayer warriors that can pray for these individuals in these circumstances. And we also have to remember the flock that these individuals are leading. Like TD Jakes has a massive influence within the Christian community. Whether you like it or not, it just is what it is. So we should be praying that, if there is anything that's going on, we should be praying that his heart comes into full alignment with the heart of Jesus, not only for the sake of him, but for the sake of his flock as well. You know what I mean? So I'm going to leave it at that. Let me know what y'all think. Get in my comments, like this video, subscribe. I'm out.